Okay, so let's get started. Welcome everyone to the Scholars Dental NDB orientation. I'm Dr. Ahmed Hafez, and I'll be just guiding you today. We also have Dr. Ramneek, our ACJ ADAT instructor, and Dr. Flavia, our AFK instructor here to help as well. And we'll be guiding you through how to get started on becoming a dentist or licensed dentist in Canada if you're already a dentist back home. Okay, so the NDEB equivalency process. So let's begin. We're going to go through a few slides just to explain the process in an informative, detailed way that will really help you actually start on, a good point, and then we'll do a Q&A session as well. So we'll try to talk about um, everything that matters in terms of getting started. All right, so what we're going to talk about is how to become a licensed dentist in Canada, the two pathways that we have. Okay, so if you're completely new to this, there's two main pathways. One requires you going back a few years to university, and one only you do exams without going to universities, which we refer to as the direct pathway. Okay, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what is the NDEB and how to apply. So we'll get into more details of the application process, so that will help you as well. Um, when to apply and which AFK to take, we'll start a bit with that because that may help you also decide when to get started, right? We won't go into too much details about the exam itself. So the AFK, if you're wondering, is the first exam you have to do, or the another exam is the ADAT. We have a special event for that, which is on February 22nd. Okay, it's the AFK orientation and how to prepare for it. We'll go through very details and meta of how to navigate the AFK with, dates and how to approach it, along with discussion about ADAT as well. We'll touch base on them a little bit today, but we won't be able to go into detail. Okay, those will be in a separate event. If you want to register for that event, it's also free. So no, it's um, yes, February 22nd. I'll I'll put the link here. Uh, in the chat for you. Okay. If you want to take a minute to register for it now, you could do that. If you want to save it for later, you could do that later. Just make sure you register. It's free and you'll get the information you need from it. We do have recordings on YouTube, but every year we do some updates to the event to, discuss any recent things that we need to talk about. Okay. So it's good to attend the new one as well. And actually, I'm going to try something maybe different here. Let's see. You guys like this better, or does it look a little bit more? All right.
That is cool. I like it.
Okay, we'll try this then. Yeah. I can't see how it looks like, so only you guys, I'll have to rely on what you guys are seeing. Um, okay, so let's move on to the next slide. So how to become a licensed dentist in Canada. So to start practicing, I'm going to start backwards a bit. To start actually practicing, any dentist, even locally, has to do is apply to what we call the Provincial Dental Regulatory Authority. And you apply to these bodies and say, hey, can I practice dentistry in Canada? And these bodies in Canada, each province has its own regulation body. So, for example, in Ontario, it's the RCDSO. In British Columbia, it's the College of Dental Surgeons of British Columbia. So, whichever province you're in, okay, you have to apply to these bodies and ask them, hey, I want to practice dentistry. Here's my documents, right? So that's for you to get your license to practice dentistry. Now, these provincial dental regulatory authority, these bodies will ask for special documents, right? And one of the main documents among those is what we call the NDEB certificate, right? They're going to ask some university papers from back home, possibly an English test, depending on where you graduated from. But the NDEB certificate is what focuses on approving your knowledge. So the RCDSO, or the regulatory body, what they do is they regulate your practice. They make sure you're doing things ethically, you're maintaining, standards, but they're not testing you on your knowledge in the first, when you graduate. So that's what the NDEB does. So you have to first get your NDEB certificate, which is this, right? So this is your goal. Everybody's goal here is to have one of these with their name on it at the end. And you could try to envision this uh, in your head right now to say, okay, I got to get this certificate, right? It'll have your university where you originally graduated from, your name, and this will say that you've passed the boards, the NDEB exams. Okay. So you have to then deal with the NDEB first, get the certificate, then now you could apply to get your license, which is a separate body, right? So the NDEB does not give you the license. Okay, the NDEB does not give, it gives you the certificate that you know the knowledge of dentistry, but still you have to apply to, for example, the RCDSO to get your license. Okay, to actually practice. So this comes to the question, this is the main thing. How do we get this NDEB certificate? Well, to get the NDEB certificate, you could simplify it for everyone is passing the OSCE exam. Okay, it's the board exam that is conducted in Canada for people that graduate dentistry here. Anyone that wants to get their NDEB certificate has to do the OSCE exam. Okay, we won't talk about it too much. It's 150 case based questions with 50 MCQ questions. No problem. We won't go into detail. It's an exam. So then you were going to ask, well, okay, so all I have to do is this one exam, right? So how can I take this OSCE exam? Well, to take that OSCE exam, you have to be a graduate of an accredited program. Okay, so not anyone can just go and apply for this OSCE exam. Okay, I'm starting backwards, and then I'll show you the path altogether in a map. But in order to take this OSCE exam, you have to be a graduate of an accredited program. So a university that they approve of, basically. Okay. So if you're a graduate from a so you're a graduate from an accredited program or a non-accredited dental program, but have completed the NDEB equivalency process. Okay, so I don't have the list here, but we might have in a different slide. What are the accredited dental programs? So for example, if you're a graduate from a US university, obviously a Canadian university, your accredited program, because that's in Canada, Australian, right? I think, is New Zealand included or Ireland? No, Ireland.
Ireland.
Ireland. I'm not sure if, no, New Zealand, they still have to do the process, right? So far, these four. So even like if you're a graduate from, you might think, well, Germany or UK, no, you're still not an accredited dental program. So USA, Canada, Australia, Ireland, if you're a graduate from these universities, I mean, you don't need to attend this event, I think, because your pathway is easy. You just have to really do the virtual OSCE, and you could contact us for that. But that's all you have to do mainly, after you apply, of course. But this event is mainly for if you're a non-accredited dental program, which is any other university, any other country. So in that case, you have to go through what is called the NDEB equivalency process. Pass the NDEB exams, then you could take the OSCE. So here's a little diagram to kind of just simplify it. So if you're an internationally trained dentist, meaning let's say outside of Canada, and you are from an accredited dental program, which we said USA, Australia, Ireland, then you could go directly to virtual OSCE to do that exam. If you're a non-accredited dental program, you have to go through the NDEB equivalency process, then you could go to the virtual OSCE. Okay, so here's the list. Actually, we have it. Okay, so graduate of an accredited dental program, Canadian School, American, Australian, New Zealand, and Ireland. So these are the accredited programs. If you're one of these universities, you could go straight to OSCE. Okay, so most of us here are not are not from there. So we're going to be discussing mainly the NDEB equivalency process. Okay. Now, just to give you a little bit of perspective on, how dentistry is in these accredited programs, like in Canada, for example. So usually they would have to become a dentist in Canada. If you are starting from scratch in Canada, you will be doing an undergrad of 4 years. So let's say you do 4 years of sciences or 4 years of, you know, whatever kind of program you decide. Then after that 4 years, you're allowed to apply to dental school. So this is different than the maybe non-accredited program countries, like when I went to school, for example, or maybe some of you go directly from high school to dental program, right? It might be a 5-year dental program. So you might, after high school, maybe you're doing 5 years. However, here in Canada, you do 4 years of university that's not really related to dentistry, right? Maybe you're doing sciences, something in physics. You could even do it, whatever, university. You could even do something not related to science, right? Then after those 4 years, you apply to dental school. So dental school or medical school, whatever you're going for, but dental school will ask for that undergrad. So a minimum is spending 8 years of university here to become a general dentist. Okay. Um, and going through all this, you have to maintain high marks throughout all the 4 years in your undergrad. Usually people go into sciences, but they have to maintain high scores throughout those 4 years to be even allowed to get into the dental school. So it is um, a struggle. That's where I was mentioning it's not an easy thing here to become a dentist, even if you're starting off here. Okay, it's very competitive. There's only 9 to 10 universities. You have to go through this, and it's a risk. You might be doing this, paying. Remember, also, uh, it's expensive. Education here is expensive, so you're paying for those 4 years of university, not even knowing if you're going to get into dental school. You might not even get into dental school, right? And then when you get into dental school, you still have to pay for those next 4 years and maintain also passing scores, right? Or you could get kicked out. So this is just to compare, because sometimes people in the going through the NDEB process feel like, well, I studied dentistry back home. I'm coming here. Why are they making me go through this, right? It's kind of equivalent. They're balancing the dentist outcome, right? So if you have spent 4 to 5 years back home and you're spending 2 to 3 years in the NDEB process, that way they're kind of balancing what dentists kind of did, right? In the same way. So you actually didn't lose time if you're working as a dentist here. It's actually equal in that way. So it's good to keep that in mind because a lot of people get to the point where they start saying, oh, this is too much. Why are they asking for all this? Well, that's what dentistry here is. By default, it's 8 years at least. So if you want to be a dentist here, then at least you should be at the same standard, or you could be at the same starting point as them. At least you'll be in less debt because the NDEB process is cheaper than going through all that schooling. So, so you're actually at an advantage. Okay, it's a good way to look at it. So you're not always looking at things negatively, and look at them from the right perspective and be positive about it, and know that we're lucky to have this open up for us. Okay, so now let's. So this is the accredited dental program, which doesn't concern you, but it's good to understand how it works so that you understand. Okay, that's what the outcome dentist, general dentist is in Canada, and that's who I'm going to be working side to side with. Okay, so now we want to try to look at draw the map for the non-accredited. So the non-accredited dental program graduates, right? You are going to have to first. This is the general map. You're going to have to start with an application process to the NDEB, right? So you send your documents, you get approved by the NDEB. Once you do that, you go through exams, your first exam, the AFK. Then you could either you have two options. You could either go through university pathway or continue exams, which is ACJ and NDEC. Both options lead to, at the end, if you pass them or graduate, to virtual OSCE. Okay.
So the step of exam for
Mhm.
university pathway would be the ADAT mostly, right?
Exactly. Yes. So, and also the application would change
Mhm.
there too. So this is generally now application wise, you might want to add IMBDE, sorry, the ADA application here, so that part of the exams you might want to add ADAT because universities are now asking, so universities in Canada are asking for the ADAT exam, which we could also help prepare you for. Okay. So universities in Canada are asking for the ADAT exam, and the AFK is really now more specialized for the direct pathway, which doesn't require the university, right? Are there any universities left for AFK?
One,
One? Which one?
I think the Western.
Western was still
Yeah,
taking AFK, but I heard that starting next year, so applications for the next year, it will be ADAT.
it will
Mhm.
be,
So
yeah,
this was the
Salman.
last year.
But
Yeah.
what? There's another one that was taking AFK, right? Says like
No,
Dalhousie,
yeah,
did it change as
no,
well?
that's changing, right?
it's
So
changed.
is it safe to say everything is ADAT almost?
Everything, yeah. Six
Everything is
Yes,
ADAT.
universities, yeah, six
starting.
universities
Mhm.
with IDAP programs. Everybody is changing.
Okay,
Mhm.
so it's becoming more like just like
The
that's it. It's
norm.
split,
Yeah.
clear split now.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good to, this is kind of the stuff we could help you with because you have here instructors that have experience with even university applications, strategies. Like for example, we would advise you if you start our AFK program to take the ADAT add-on so that you open both doors because you never know which one will kind of work out for you. So there's these little things will save you a lot of time and money in errors. Okay, this is what is important, is to get this guidance so you don't make errors in your planning. Okay, we also offer free consults where we help you plan. We draw a map for you, and figure out a plan based on what you need. We could put that also in the chat, the link to the consult. So let me start again here now. NDEB application. This is the general way for the direct pathway. NDEB application, and we're going to talk about the NDEB application in more detail later. Then the first exam is the AFK exam, the assessment of fundamental knowledge. It's gonna be a regular MCQ. I wouldn't call it regular. From my discussions with, we were actually just um, in an expo in India actually, and we were talking to a lot of dentists there. But if you compare AFK to IMBDE to ADAT to ADC, I think AFK is the most challenging in terms of the way they bring their questions and how they rescale their score. That I think we all agree on. It's the most challenge. So if you could pass AFK, I think you have a really, you're already ahead in all the other exams. You might just have to tweak a little bit to understand their questions and mocks, right? So AFK exam, and then ACJ exam, which is a very unique exam. I'm not sure if I've seen any other exam like that strategy, but it's a unique exam as well. Then you have the NDEC, which is a combination of skills and interview exams. And then when you finish this, then you are equivalent to someone that is accredited. Now you could take the virtual OSCE. Okay, so hopefully that's clear for everyone. This is the process. I look at the NDEB application as an exam in itself because you could not get approved. So you have to get approved. So they're examining your documentation, right? You're you have to send the right documents, and if you don't, you have to fix it. So that still takes time,
Yeah. And it
right?
takes time. That's what I was gonna add. It takes
Mhm.
time. So it's the first big accomplishment.
Yeah, we congratulate people when they go through this. So what would you say like the average time is it taking? How long did it take both of
Um,
you?
Average 6 months, but I've seen it taking 12 months, because if you have a document that needs some adjustments or they need extra information, it can extend the process, right? But average 6 months. Mine took almost 6, like 5.5 months.
Almost 5-6 months. Dr. Amneen?
Sorry, 5.5 months. Yeah.
5.5.
For
Same
me,
thing?
I did it earlier, so it was 3 months for me at that time. So it was pretty
3
fast.
months?
3 months, yes.
Okay, good.
But I think it's very important that you you scan your documents really well, send them in the proper format, which is required because they have a list on their website. So follow the proper guidelines which they want from you. So that you're not going back and forth with the documentation. That takes time, yes.
Correct. All right, so you guys got that? So pretty much try to keep, and also they have like a booking link if you want to talk to them. We'll show you that as well. So, and we always advise everyone that's interested in this to start with the NDEB application from back home. Like it's easier if you're back home to start it, right? You could go to your university, get the documents you need in person, just begin it because it doesn't expire. Someone was asking, does it expire? People are under this impression that it expires. No, once you're approved, you're approved. Okay, so you should just do it. I think it's good to get approved.
Can I add
And yeah, please go ahead.
something to this?
Yeah.
Even before you're approved, if you start your application and start sending documents, that also doesn't expire. Like I left my application, started with some documents sent for probably 2 years. I started before the pandemic, then the pandemic happened, so I stopped, and then I started again, and it was all there. It just stays there. Like that doesn't expire.
Good
So if you
point.
want to
So
start
even
slowly,
on
like
on
sending,
the
collecting,
level of each document,
yeah.
it doesn't expire. If they approved your degree, that's it. You're done. You don't have to send that ever. You might have other things not approved yet, but you could do it slowly. Is that what you mean?
If I remember well, no, once you send it, it'll have a change in the status of the documents. It will just say received. Once all of them are received, then it changes to processing. So
Yes.
they don't approve document by document.
Yes, correct.
They only
That's
start
right.
analyzing once they have everything. So it won't start being analyzed. But you can like start uploading, like not uploading, sending the documents slowly. You don't have to necessarily do it all at once. It's better though, obviously, if you want to do it faster. But yeah, that also doesn't expire.
Okay, yeah, good point. We'll also touch base because some people have questions like electronically versus in mail. When we get to the NDEB application, we'll dig deeper into that. So this is the process. Now, as we said in 2025. Oh, by the way, happy New Year to everybody. We're fine for 2025. Forgot to mention. So, in 2025, pretty much for the university pathway, you're going to want to get an ADA application, right? The ADA application, which is the American Dental Association. And that way you could do the ADAT exam, and then you could apply to universities in Canada. Just keep in mind, ADAT is an American exam, but we're using it to apply to Canadian universities. So you have to apply to the American Dental Association to do the exam. That's why now you need two applications. Once you graduate from university, so when you do the ADAT, you enter into the university. You don't start from scratch. You might do a 2-year or 3-year, depending on the university. Once you complete, it's like a special program for international trained dentists, and then you are a regular graduate. So now you're accredited, and then you could do the virtual OSCE. Okay, so both paths lead to the virtual OSCE. With the university pathway, you get a degree from the university, whereas with the direct pathway, it'll just have your original university on your NDEB. So the ADA application, I understand, is easier than the NDEB application. Do you guys want to do some comparisons here? So ADA application, how long do you think, Dr. Ramnik or
ADA application is easy. You have to go to the ADA website. You have to create a dent pin. So once you receive a dent pin, that dent pin is for you for your forever. So with that, once you're in there, you can apply to like INDB with that, and you can apply to ADAT. So ADAT application would take you 1 day. Once it is approved, then you can schedule your exam, and then you can book your seat wherever you like, with the Pearsons and everything. So it's not.
Do you send your documents to get the DEN PIN, or is the DEN PIN just like an account number?
No, just an account number.
Okay, and then you send your documents after.
Only thing which was required is ECE evaluation. So you have to get ECE US evaluation done. So they analyze your records, and then you can apply for like ADAT. But that ECE US evaluation doesn't take much time. So usually it is processed within 2 weeks. It's faster.
So you guys see so if you're doing the NDEB application, we could kind of mention it now. Everything is done in mail, okay? You're not uploading anything electronically, unfortunately. People ask sometimes, like, does this ECE thing work or not? Or no, with NDEB, you have to send it in, okay? We'll go through the details there. And you said maybe we were kind of said anywhere 3 to 6 months to even sometimes 12 months, but let's just say the average is around 5 to 6 months. Whereas in the ADA, there's an electronic form. Like, so you've already sent your documents to this ECE thing, they verified it, and then they kind of figure it out with the ADAT and with the ADA, and you get approved. Is that how it works?
I did it recently. And the DEN PIN you created the same day you start. It's like starting your ADA account, so the DEN PIN, and then you can start sending your documents. They accept electronic documents, so but it has to be from your university. So my university sent them my transcripts if they're in English already, and then they process it in less than 2 weeks. The ECE,
yes,
and they send it directly to the ADA, so then they approve your profile. You can start registering. My process took 12 days. The whole
so you
process
guys
took 12
could
days.
see the comparison here. So it's totally worth it if you're doing the NDB application to add this to your task list to do. And you could also, with this ADA approval, you could also take the IMBDE, just in case if you want to open the option to the US. So Dr. Flavia took our AFK course and then did the IMBDE and passed, right? So
Yes.
because the IMBDE is, as we said, easier kind of than the AFK. If you're trained for the AFK, you'd pass the IMBDE. And 80% of ADAT.
Well prepared, yeah.
Exactly. Okay. You want to add anything on to that?
No. Yeah, that's the reason why I did my ADA. I didn't take the ADAT, but I took the IMBDE, like Dr. Hafez said. So you can take there's other exams you can take using that profile. Like he said, it's an American profile. And yeah.
How similar is AFK and ADAT? So I would say if you studied AFK, you kind of covered 80% of ADAT. And what we do is we have an ADAT bridge or add-on program on top of the AFK where you just study the differences. So Dr. Ramnik, do you want to add anything on to that as well in terms of AFK, ADAT similarities?
So somebody has the similarities between AFK and ADAT. So I would say how ADAT is like what we have to add to give the ADAT. ADAT is more extensive in biomedical sciences and biostatistics. The clinical knowledge which you gain through your AFK, it's just how you apply for the exam. So that we teach. So these are the major differences. Rest, I would suggest that prepare for AFK and then add on to the knowledge to give the ADAT.
Okay, and we have mocks for the ADAT to prepare you to understand how the exam formula is. Okay, so there's more epidemiology, statistics. So ADAT exam was originally made for US dentists when they want to apply to specialties, right? So they're going to test you more on how to understand studies and stuff like that. Also, the advantage of doing both is you don't have to study theory again. So when you're already studying AFK theory for 6 months, 7 months, whatever time and effort and money and you're putting into it and the family's putting into it because you're studying and you're busy, adding another 1 or 2 months then for ADAT seems like the best efficient way to open both doors of the process. You might get stuck on ACJ or not get a seat, but university opens up for you. You might not get approved in university, but you pass ACJ easily. So the reason we recommend doing both is that let's say you study 6 months for AFK and then you try the ACJ, something happens where maybe you don't make it through or you don't get a seat and it's delayed. Now you decide to do ADAT after a year, you have to go study again all over and review everything. So it's more of an efficiency wise thing to do that you're already studying right now. You're at your peak level while you're studying AFK. I guess part of it is to admit to yourself that you're not going to remember the knowledge forever, right? So while you're at your peak, add to it, go do ADAT, maybe even go do IMBDE, right? Like why not at that point if that's a route for you that you're interested in. So that's why I do both, right? Instead of training so much for AFK, maybe after you decide to do ADAT, but now you're not at your best anymore because you probably forgot a lot of your AFK stuff. Now you have to go review it all over again, start studying all over again. Does that make sense? So that is what we recommend for the best efficiency and, for the best results in the long term. Okay, so summarize application, AFK ADAT, university pathway or direct pathway, and then virtual OSCE. So people are asking about duration. This is where we're going to come about duration and cost. So the duration of the direct pathway, where it's only exams, I mean, the fastest you could do it, I would say, if you're lucky, would be 2.5 years maybe. But like 3 years, 4 years, and it could cost you anywhere. I mean, maybe these are a little bit more aggressive numbers, but it could be even less. It could be 40 to 50,000. So it really depends on how you you spend on things, right? For example, if you're buying instruments for the most expensive part is the NDECC. So it depends on how much you're spending on your instruments and how you're buying them, and it just comes down to these kind of things, and how many times you have to repeat the exams. When it comes to universities, I would say add, a year to it, so 3 to 4 years, um, because in university you're spending 2 years. You could say that it takes a year at least to apply and get in, and then you're already doing a year for doing your first exam, maybe. So like 3 to 4 years is reasonable from the time you want to start, and you could, because universities are going to be expensive, you're going to have to take loans from OSAP or from whatever body we have in Canada for student loans. It might cost you around 150 to 250. Dr. Emni, do you have any comments? And Dr. Flavi, maybe you guys could share what do you guys think about these? Like, do you guys agree with these numbers? Do you think a little bit less, a little bit more? Like, well, you have experience with applying as well.
So I can share my experience with the ACJ index. So 80K is a good number, because you are managing your expenses. If you are working simultaneously in Canada, then you can take out your living expenses from there. However, 80K, if we take, it's an average number, which everybody usually spends to get through the process of equivalency. And university, yes, it's around 2.50. And it takes you around 4 years right from the start of applying, giving the exams, applying, getting into the university, coming out, and then be ready for the virtual OSCE. So average for NDECC, I think, is 3.
Average for the direct pathway, you're saying 3 years?
Yeah, it's 3
Yeah,
years.
ADK, you're saying it includes life expenses, or are you talking just about the process?
Some life expenses,
Mm-hmm.
some process, because I think the maximum amount of expenses you do, as you said, it's an NDECC. So you have to buy your loops, you have to buy your instruments, you have to go for training, the exam fees is high. It's around like $7,000. Then it adds on if you are giving it another chance or if you're repeating the exam.
Yeah.
So I'm talking average is 80 now.
Yes. Yeah. So a good number that I like to, because everybody here, you're new still. So from AFK to ACJ, I would budget 15K Canadian, I would say, with exams and courses. I think that's reasonable. After that, NDECC is where it really gets more expensive. And I'm talking about 15K as in just for the process. Like if you're opening an account, it's 1,000. Registering for the AFK exam, maybe it's 1,000. Taking an AFK course, maybe 5. Then you have an ACJ exam. Like all that could come up to 15, maybe a little bit less than 15, but just in case. I would say having that like even number would be good. Um, we're saying well 18 lakhs, right? Almost. I don't know if that's the right term. I learned it in or in India. We're saying that so that in INR. But Flavia, what do you have any idea about the numbers?
I'm early into the process. I think 15K is a good number if you're going just direct pathway and talking about AFK ACJ. It could be
Hmm.
around that
Hmm.
amount. In my case, I also applied for one university that had a mandatory course that
Western.
cost me,
Yeah.
yeah, the University of Western Ontario. So that course costed almost $10,000. And then I had to purchase materials, which cost me $3,000. So it depends, right? Like everyone's paths, like it can look different for everyone. That's what I
Hmm.
decided to
But you're
do. And
including the
so
university
I ended
pathway
up,
now, so that you could kind of separate
yeah,
that from the direct.
yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess it's
So the
separated.
direct, you
So
would say
just the
15 is
beginning
good,
there.
but the
15 for
university
ACK,
now is
ACJ.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Like for it, it's separated. You're right.
So for the university, you would say it depends on the university, but the Western has the PLA, which is 10,000.
Yeah, but then I guess the average number for the 2 or 3 years, it would be around 250,
Yeah.
300, up to 300, I would say.
Hmm. Okay.
But,
And
like for University of Toronto, application is $250. That's it.
yeah, and there's
That's
no
it?
clinical exam for UFT. That's the thing. So
But we have to take
Mm,
into consideration all the things, like you have to give your
yeah,
IELTS also and everything. So those costs add up. Like
mhm,
yeah,
because yeah, IELTS, you have to pay for ECE, you have to pay for WES evaluation.
yes,
So
mhm,
when I'm talking, like when you talk about average, that includes the entire journey from like point one
mhm,
to
yeah.
everything.
Even like travel expenses for the
Yes.
exam. Sometimes you have to, some people take the exam like outside of Canada. So
yeah,
Yeah.
there's tickets, there's
true.
hotel, everything, right?
Yeah, that's true. Those are other kind of like unpredictable kind of expenses,
Variables.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
variables. But just to keep you guys all in check, like in clear here, that you're not paying this out of pocket necessarily. So once you can only get to the university with a PR, and at that or like right, and when you have that, you get access to government student loans, right? So you're not actually paying that out. You don't have to like save it then come. so and similar here with this amount when you get there are financial institutes that help foreign trained dentists with this program, right? But you also have to have a PR for those two. We'll talk about this a little bit as well, but now you have a good idea of the duration and the financial commitment. So here's another diagram, but I think we already discussed it. No need to go through it again. So our ADAT add-on course, just to explain to you how it would work. Actually, I would just give you an idea of the AFK. So the AFK happens twice a year in Feb and August. And we have two courses for that. One that starts in March, so it's coming up for training you for the August exam, and one in September training you for, well, the Feb exam. It's kind of like the other Feb, right? Um, and that's our main AFK essential course. We also have a mastery course, which is 9 months long. We'll talk about those more detail in the AFK orientation. The mastery course, that's let's say preparing you for the August exam, starts all the way in November, so you have a lot more time to go through the content. Um, Now, where does ADAT fit in? What we do, just to give you guys a little bit of an idea here, and I'll change the color. ADAT opens between March and August as an exam. So when you're applying for ADAT, it is between the end of March and maybe the end of August, I would say. So our course starts for ADAT in Feb. It's a 2 months course that you add on to the AFK because we want you to do the AFK, then take the differences that you need for the ADAT. And it would be ongoing. So if you come in and you want to register in March or in April, we will find a solution for you where you could go in and access the content and still do live sessions and mocks. So our ADAT program basically is going to be open throughout from Feb to August to help support anyone taking that ADAT exam. Contact us if you need details about that, but we recommend it to be an add-on to the AFK. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, so now you guys have an idea, and we're just going to go through some of the obstacles that you might face when you're looking at this process. Okay, now I like to be realistic with dentists. You know, I'm not here trying to necessarily. I don't convince you to go through this, to come to Canada and do this. It's more like if you want to do this, there are going to be obstacles, and this is how you resolve them. Okay, um, you have to expect some discomfort. So you might be at a comfortable level right now, right? Where you're just here and maybe you're comfortable, maybe you're not happy, depends on what your goal is for doing this process and coming to Canada. But expect that there'll be some sort of drop in, there'll be a struggle, there'll be discomfort because you're not going to be necessarily practicing dentistry if you're already here. You know, there's going to be a lot of work to do, but once you're done, you're going to rise up a little bit higher. So I would say a lot more higher. So you have to understand that this isn't necessarily an easy peasy journey. Okay, it's not something that everyone is built for. You know, so it does take sacrifice, it does take commitment. You see us, all of us here are going. You know, I'm done it, so and I could tell you that it is worth it for sure. Um, but you see other instructors going through it, and they understand once they're in it, they see this, right? Like, I don't want to speak on your behalf. You could maybe share this kind of feeling, Dr. Amnik.
When we come from our home countries, usually we are comfortable, as you said, in terms of we are settled in our profession and then we decide to immigrate. So we have certain challenges. Everybody has. We have to settle into the new country and then we have to prepare for the exams and then finances are there. But once you start it, it is difficult. Once you get into it, you start understanding it and then you start meeting people who have gone through this journey or are going through it. So they are there to support you. And then you have the instructors who understand what it takes. And once it is done, trust me, it's a very good feeling. I've met people who are really happy about it. So hang in there.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So look at it as like it is an investment. Sometimes I tell people this is somewhat, it is a lifestyle move, right? Like everybody has their reasons why they want to do this move and shift, but also understand that like it's an investment in yourself, right? So in the beginning, you're going to be, you know, you're probably going to lose money. You're going to struggle. You're going to go through. It's like you're building a new thing for yourself. But once you're done, you know, the 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 whole journey would be worth it, right? Um, okay, so that's something to keep in mind, Dr. Flavio. Do you want to share anything on that, you know, on that page, like talking about this?
Yeah, as you can see, I have my daughter here with me now. So yeah, I think you're right. There will be discomfort. The journey is not easy. Even if you are like doing the process back home while you're still working as a dentist, you're still somewhat comfortable in your position. Just making time and dedicating time and efforts to the process, to studying, you know, and everything will make you uncomfortable. You will have to make it a priority, and that can be difficult, right? But it is so rewarding. Like I said, I'm still early in the process, but once I just decided to go and start the process, it was the most rewarding thing ever. I actually have been in Canada for a long time, for 12 years, and I only started the process last year. Well, now it's
Oh wow,
2025,
yeah,
so September 2023, that's when I started.
yeah. You were here
Because I
for
had
10 years
kids
without doing anything. Then you,
without doing it, because I thought it would be um, not impossible, but too difficult as a mom. I have 3 kids. So I thought it would be better to wait until they're all in school. And I kept waiting, but I kept having babies. I'm exaggerating, I have 3. But but I decided to start it anyways because I thought it might take me longer studying. So I'll just start now. Why would I wait and then start later? So I started, and to my surprise, it only took me like the 6 months of the course. Like I took the 6 months course and I actually passed the first exam. So that was very rewarding. And it just makes you understand that even though the discomfort will be there, the rewards, like the accomplishments, they will make you like proud,
Motivate you, keep you going. Oh,
motivated.
worth
Yeah,
it.
motivated as
Even
well.
like the mini accomplishments, you don't even have to get to the
Yeah,
end yet, right?
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, because this is good to for everyone to know that like people have, okay, I have responsibilities, I have kids, it's doable even with that, right?
It is
Dr. Remy, do
doable.
you want to say something, sir?
You will be surprised how much you can do, how much you
That
have
is
it.
true.
You will realize your potential. You will realize, okay, you never thought that you could do so much, but once you are in the process, it will change you. It will change you for good. You will,
Yeah,
you will see what you can achieve. So
Mm-hmm.
start
yeah.
now. Yeah,
And you get like your confidence back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Want to start like it's
true,
like gaining your confidence back.
true.
It's a truly like it's personal growth as well, starting the
Mm-hmm.
process. It teaches you a lot about yourself, about everything.
I think because many feel that they maybe are inferior to the process, and then once you step in and start
Hmm.
passing, you're like, oh, this is meant for me. Like
I
I could
can
do
do
this,
this.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
I was scared.
and just to give people an idea, we make it convenient for you to start from back home. So that's why we say like you could start your
Yeah,
application, you can even start your preparation. You could prepare for the AFK and ADAT and ACJ completely
from
online
home.
with us as scholars from home, from back home while you're doing dentistry. We have programs where it makes it flexible, prolonged. We even have an AFK course for busy people. Okay, we have an AFK
Hmm.
course for people that are working full time.
Full time.
Our ACJ course
Hmm.
is catered for people working as well. So you could do this all online. We ship the books to you. You come just to do the exam, you could go back. And then once you kind of figured out and you pass these exams, if you're doing that direct pathway, for NDEC, we do say in person is best. So you want to come in person. Hopefully by then you figured out your immigration PR and it makes sense to do the move, right? But if just to get started with AFK ADAT, you could do it from home. Okay. So you don't need a PR before doing the license exams. You could do all these exams without a PR, but the PR is required for financial assistance, which may be the most important part is when you get to NDEC, you might need, or depending on your financial situation as well. So let's get back to this image here where we say the obstacles that people will have in this program, in this like process is knowledge, money, time, and distance, right? Now with knowledge, we'll say the courses cover you with that. So take a course. Don't risk. Remember, you only have 3 attempts for each exam, AFK and ACJ. For NDEC, I think it's a 5-year limit. I'm not sure if that's even been applied to anybody yet, like in that way. But it's 3 attempts max for each. Each time you lose an attempt, you are losing 6 months of your life of being a dentist, where that 6 months could have paid for almost everything that you've done before already. So this is why we say invest in yourself. It's like pay to pass faster. Okay, don't if you need to pay to pass faster, that makes more sense than delaying your passing. Okay, so courses will give you the knowledge you need to pass. Okay, to give you the best chances to pass. And we'll talk about that more in our AFK orientation about how our AFK course works. Financial money. Um, as scholars, what we do is we have convenient payment plans. So we do have monthly payment plans. We split your payments. Um, but international trained dentists, in case you're new to this community, ITD means internationally trained dentist. You could get loans up to 100,000 for foreign trained dentists from Windmill and CIBC. CIBC is a bank in Canada. Windmill is a financial kind of loaning institute for professionals here that helps immigrant professionals to get their licenses and stuff. So they do have requirements. You could contact. We'll give you a link. So money-wise, you have to figure that part out. We do help with convenient payment plans, but again, you don't have to put up that 100,000 or 80,000 up front. You're paying first, the step by step for each exam, right? So if you have a PR in residency, you could apply to the Windmill program, which will give you up to 25 for the first exam. Once you pass AFK, then you get 35 for ACJ. Once you pass that, you get 50. Like they keep giving you as you go forward, right? So we could leave a link for that, or you could go to our website. Actually, if you go to, we have a link for it, and we have a video. So, okay, in case you want to look into that. So remember, as we said, complete AFK, ACJ, even ADAT from back home using our online courses. You could do this while you're still working back home. Okay, this is a strategy, and then you could move to Canada for NDECC. Hopefully, you've planned your move just before NDECC, and then you move and you start your NDECC process. Of course, you could also come first, just like how our fellow instructors did, right? They came first, then they started. That you could do that too. It depends on how you want to plan it, but just know that this option, we've made it possible with our fully online program. Okay.
I started from back home.
You started from back home. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I started preparing for AFK. I prepared for it. I came for the exam, and then after AFK, I immigrated. Yeah. So you can do that. Yes.
Okay, you could do that too. Yeah. And then ACJ, you did it from here. Basically, there's no excuse to not start wherever. Like you could start wherever you are. Whenever you get your documents to move or things are set, you could move.
With a baby.
With a baby. Yeah.
Yeah. No excuses. Just start.
Oh, yeah. I had a 3-month-old baby when I was studying for AFK when I started. So she was in my lap and I used to study for AFK. So you guys can do it. It's possible. Yeah.
No, it's very encouraging because a lot of people will put those as like obstacles, and it's all like kind of unreal obstacles, right? Where you could just have to get over it and just do it, right? That's good. Time is going to be probably the obstacle that is really on you. It's the one that's going to be, you have to figure out how much time you need. Now we are realistic, right? Some people, cannot attend classes. They need flexibility. We make that with our online unique formula. We make it possible. Okay. It's not just a simple online live program. We have a very, very unique formula that will make it flexible. We explained that in our AFK orientation, where it's a combination of recorded videos and live sessions. And we ship the books to your house, wherever you are. So we will make it flexible. Now, you still have to actually sit and do the stuff, right? So you have to find time to do that. But we even made that more flexible. If you're super busy, you have a lot of responsibility. We have the AFK Mastery, which is a 9 months prolonged relaxed program. Okay. So if you're waiting for approval, consider taking a course twice. Some people need longer time to prepare, or the mastery course. If you're working full-time or part-time, if you have family responsibilities, sometimes we call it a type 1 versus type 2 student. So if you want to type 1, let's say someone is just freshly graduate. Okay, let's just build this character. Fresh graduate dentist, very used to studying all day, knows the recent knowledge, is still into it. No family responsibilities, maybe no kids, not married, and can study full time. So maybe they don't have the obligation to work, right? They don't have to work to support themselves. So can study full time. And we said no family responsibilities. So this person could probably need less time to pass the AFK exam, or the essential time, let's say 6 months, right? A type 2 would be the opposite. So someone that maybe graduated a long time ago, right? So they're kind of out of studying a bit. They're more clinical now. They have to get back into that routine. They have family responsibilities, kids, spouse. They have this life, right? And that's good too. Can study, but they cannot study full time. So this person, we might say, okay, for you have to be realistic. You can't accomplish what the same person that's in the type 1 could accomplish in the same time. It's just not
Exactly.
realistic. So let's plan for your success, and we try to figure out a formula for them, whether it's taking the essential course twice or taking one mastery course, which is
Hmm.
prolonged. So we figure out that formula for them. Okay. And then there's places in between, right? So you have to be realistic with your time. Okay.
My my just sharing my experience. I was a type 2 student. I had graduated in 2009. Then I moved here. I had been away from dentistry for the longest time, was not used to studying, had family obligations. Uh, I could not study full time. And so what I did is I planned in my mind to take the course twice. I knew that I was going to have to, it was going to take me longer. But then you might be surprised. You might not need, even as a type 2 student, you might not need. It's good to plan things and be realistic with what you can accomplish and what you might not accomplish, but you can also be surprised. You might surprise yourself with your capabilities, right?
Yeah. So it's good that you planned for like a
Exactly.
type 2 where you planned two courses,
Hmm.
but then you took the first course, you got a seat in the exam, you took the exam, you
Yeah,
surprised
I
yourself.
wasn't even
you,
wasn't
you weren't
even
expecting
approved,
to pass.
right? When I started the course, I
Yeah.
wasn't approved by the NDB. I started without my approval because I was planning to take the exam a year from then.
Hmm.
But I ended up getting approved, finding a seat, and everything worked out.
Hmm.
So it's good that I started.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good to so even in that case, we might even plan for you that,
Mm,
even if you decide to do a year program, you could take the exam in the middle if you get a seat, just to see, right? Depends on the person, but you could see how you plan for
yeah.
that, but and then with some people like Dr. Flavia, it worked out that she beat her expectation that she's gonna do
Hmm.
it, right? Um,
Yeah.
Now distance wise, we also got you covered. This used to be an excuse back in the day when um, you driving to class, commuting to class, do I have to come? This is not even a problem for us anymore because we're not an institute that does the in class and then does our online kind of like a side thing. We are dedicated to online, so we have all the proper platforms for an online course, all the high end technology we need for an online course, all the high quality recording devices, um, you know, websites that everything is done in a way that is high end. So we dedicate our institute to the online program where we see it's best because we believe in the online format for the theory because it's more efficient, you save time, you could do it more flexibly. When it comes to skills, then we believe in the on-site because that is superior. However, for theory, we believe the online is superior. Okay, and we could discuss that as well in our AFK orientation. Okay, so we got all these four things. Hopefully, these obstacles, you understand that they are there and how to navigate them. Also, if you want something more personalized, we could talk to you about it, book a free consultation. Um, if we could leave the consult, we'll put the consultation link here. Okay, so here's the consultation link if you want to book a free consult with us. Okay, so that is mainly the four things. Okay, and the people that usually make it through the process are people that could overcome their own obstacles. Now, one question that you might all have in mind, well, is it going to be all worth it? How much, if it costs me 80,000, how much are we going to, uh, you know, how much would it come up to at the end? Can we make that money back? If you're looking at it from a financial point of view, but it's not only the financial point of view, it's also the way dentistry is conducted. Like it's a little bit very operated very nicely in Canada in a way where you as a dentist really just do the dentistry, So it is a nice thing to practice dentistry here. It's a good luxury to have, and also you could make that 80,000 in the first 6 months of practice. Okay, so just giving you guys an idea that it's going to be worth it at the end, right? Okay, so that's here. Now, 2 paths we talked about so far. We said the university and the direct. Okay, so we're going to focus today on just, and remember, you have to work on your immigration. We do have also an immigration consult. So plan how you are coming to Canada. You can take AFK exams in other countries. I think that's limited though, right? Like in some very few countries. When you come, where are you going? So kind of think of these things in your immigration process. But we do have also you need to consult an immigration expert about that um, as well. We have a link online for some. Okay. So the direct pathway, I think is kind of repetitive here. Let's just focus on. So again, this is IMBD exam. So once you do our AFK course, you could take AFK exam, IMBD, ADAT. Okay, we're going to focus on the NDEB application. So the NDEB application, I would recommend do this ASAP. It's always to get it done. It doesn't expire. It is easier to do this before you even come to Canada because now you're in contact with your university back home, right? And here's the process of it. So you're going to make an account. You're going to go to NDEB. You could just put in Google NDEB Canada, find the website, figure out how to open an account. I think opening an account just requires some info and an ID, some notarized photo ID. There is a fee to open an account. I think it's around 1,000, right? And then once you open the account, they're gonna give you a list of documents that you need to send. So a dental degree, a notarized copy, if it needs translation, okay. Your marked transcripts translated if it's required, if it's not in English. Um, Now this part, the ones in green here, marked transcripts sealed from the university. This is a different thing than the marked transcripts that you're sending with the translation. And something called the confirmation degree. These two things are sealed. They should be sent directly from the university to the NDEB without opening the seal. Okay. Sometimes you need a good standing wherever you worked. Some countries do require some extra documents I hear about, like internship and stuff like that. So you have to check. There is an application on the NDB website where you could check which documents you might need from depending on the university you graduate from. So I'll give you an idea of what these things mean to clarify. Notarized copy and translation. So let's say I have my original degree. Okay, this is my dental degree. And because some people do find us sometimes, we get questions about, oh, can I do it back home? Can I just have someone, back home don't translate it? So ideally, you want someone that's kind of Canadian approved. Okay, so I found it the best way, the most guaranteed way was to do it by a notary public in Canada or a lawyer in Canada or maybe the Canadian embassy in your country. So you have the original degree. What they do, the notary public, is they just take a photocopy of it and then put a little sticker on it that to say that this is a true copy of the original. Okay, so they just verify that this is a true copy of the original. The original could be anything, right? They're not saying this is a dental degree. They're just saying this is a true copy of the original. So now when you send this is a true copy of the original degree. Okay, so you could also get the copy of the degree. You need to get a sworn translator to translate it if it's not in English. Okay, so now you have a translation of the degree as well. Now, the notarized copy of the degree is one document called like the degree pretty much. There's your dental degree document. And the translation with a copy of the degree is the translation document. Okay, I think this is kind of useful. I've seen some errors where, like, if you send this, assuming it's the degree and the translation, most likely that won't get accepted. They look at that as only a translation because they could only verify that this is a translation of this, and they might need a separate document as a notarized copy of the degree. Okay. Um, hopefully that's clear. So again, we said make an account and send their documents. So that's the idea here between like what a notarized copy is and what a translation document is. Okay. Now we're done with the dental degree, we said. And the same thing you might have to do with the transcripts. But you have now these two things that are sealed from the university. So the most tricky part is the confirmation degree. I think the most errors happen in this area. Okay. So the confirmation degree is not something, that is released really by your university. It's something you download from the NDEB account. So it's a document that is like this. It's a page. I mean, it was a page. Is it still a page? I think it's still a page, right? They didn't change it. All right, so it's still a page. You download it from the NDEB website. You fill up the top half. You send it to your university. The university is supposed to fill up the bottom half. Then they put it with transcripts, ideally, in a sealed envelope. Then they send it directly to the NDEB. Okay, that is what the confirmation degree is. Now, what not to do? I had one applicant once said, they had the university send it to them. They opened the seal to check, and then they send it to the NDEB. That's it. That makes it invalid. Don't do stuff like that. Okay, like the point of the seal is that it's from the university to the NDEB with no one interfering with the document. Okay. Other common errors is, and these are valid errors sometimes, like you might not know which date to really put on your top half, and then the university has, because sometimes people have different dates, like the degree date, the graduation date, some other thing date. My university had several dates, and I'm like, which one am I supposed to put? So you kind of may have to coordinate with the university, like which day are we putting here, and figure that out. Okay. All right. So once you send all these documents, now you wait for approval. You can't apply for exams until you approve. They say maximum is 22 weeks for 5 to 6 months max based on what the NDB is saying. But we say don't waste your time and start studying from now since you started your apply, and book a free consult, and we could plan which is the best AFK for you to start. Okay. So go to the NDEB website, create an NDEB profile. I think it's under resources. Hopefully it's still there. You could also go to this page, I think, under equivalency process, how to apply required documents, select your country, and they could show you what documents generally you need. And also you could book like a help session with them. Okay. And once you send your documents, you'll see that this is what Dr. Fly was talking about. It'll say not received, received, then they start processing or reviewing it, and then eventually approved or rejected. And hopefully at the end you get approved. Then you could apply for the AFK that you should have been already studying for. There are other things we don't need to go into, that if you cannot provide documents, you have to get a lawyer, and like, okay, other things that you probably don't need right now, like alternative methods. Okay, so that's pretty much it. The NDEB exams, just to give you a summary, AFK, we have an orientation coming up. 200 question MCQ is the AFK exam. It's around 5-hour exam. Okay. ACJ is more clinical cases. So you're kind of applying the theory of AFK into cases. It's more than that. Trust me, there's a lot of strategy in it. So you'll have to learn how to take the exam. And NDECC, we have skills, which is you have 8 preparations to do, or in fillings. And there's situational judgment, which is more interview based to see how you deal with patients. And then at the end, you have the virtual OSCE, which is a mix of AFK and ACJ. And I would say this is, if you've done the AFK and ACJ, this is really easy, actually easy at the end. Okay, the passing rates are high. Okay, so some important dates coming up, timeline important dates when documents are received. know when your documents are received, because I think from the time all of them are received, you kind of calculate, okay, at maximum 5 months for them to be approved at that point when they start processing them. Know the AFK exam dates so that you know which exam you want to try to go for, right? And in that way, you could link it to the AFK course start dates as well. Know the AFK exam registration opening day. All our students in our groups, we always remind them, and even on the registration day, it's a big day. Like our instructors know for our AFK registration, it's like a crazy thing going on in our groups chat. So to get a seat, I think
Yeah.
ACJ is a little bit less, crowded with seats, but AFK is usually tough. NDECC is very tough to get a seat sometimes. So know the registration opening days. Those are more important than the deadlines because seats may get booked in the first, 1 hour of registration opening. Okay. Know when the deadlines are, like the closing dates for the registration, just in case. Sometimes you do find seats, and know the course start dates, as we said. These are important dates. So there's a lot of information here, everybody. So we're just going to give you where to start. If you haven't done anything yet, open an NDEB account, get approved, plan your immigration, and start preparing for the AFK that you think you will be taking, which could be a prediction, and this could come out from a consultation with us. Okay. And add to your plan, if you can, to open an account with the ADA for the ADAT exam. I think this is a good start to take action on, everybody, because I know there's a lot of information. Don't think of the whole thing right now. You have an idea, but think of the first few steps you could take to approach the process. And that is all. Okay. Remember to book your free consultation, and we could figure out when to be in your first exam preparation, and we could start our Q&A. So we'll stop this. All right. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Okay. An hour and 20. Not bad, right? We did better. Hopefully, we didn't skip
That's
anything.
good.
Everything was explained in detail. Nobody. You're welcome. So anybody that has questions now, please go ahead. You could ask. I wasn't seeing all the questions in the chat just because I was distracted more. So with the presentation itself. What do you guys think? Was that, do we have anything? Is there anything any of you would like to add as well? Like to the
No, I
process?
think you were thorough. Some
Okay,
questions are
question
coming up now.
from Gursi, and also if you want to unmute, you can. That's fine.
Yeah.
But a question from Gursi Moran's, does having a PR give an advantage in cost of exams? No, it's the same price for everyone.
It gives you an advantage in terms of financing the exams, right? So when you have a
Yes.
PR, you are able to get loans in Canada. If you don't have a PR, you won't be able to. But
Yes,
the
correct.
cost is the same.
The cost is the same, but you could get loans, correct?
Mhm.
Is that clear, Gursimran? So next question, Hiba. When you use a financial support, when do you pay it back?
Dr. Amnik, would you?
So you can start paying after like you have got a job and everything. It's just that every month there is an interest which gets deducted. So you just have to pay the interest on the line of credit which you are using. So they give you a certain amount in your exam after you clear a particular, for example, they will give you 15,000 or 35,000 in steps. So you can use it or you cannot use it. If you're not using it, you are not paying anything, like any interest on that. But the amount which you are using, you will pay interest on that every month. So
Mhm.
that is how it works. You can start paying the main principal amount after you get a job.
Mm-hmm. And there's just 2 points here. One is, I think this institute is like trying to help. Like I think it's profit free, right? So it is lower than what you see in banks. It's very low. I think you end up paying $50 a month or something, right?
Yeah, bank interest
email?
is less.
Right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
The other thing is we are working on an arrangement with them to have an interest-free method if
Mhm.
there's any religious also restrictions for that. So we are trying to figure that out with them. So those two things, but it's yeah, the payment back is very convenient basically. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm in New Zealand. Can I free basic science booklet? Yep, you have to contact one of our. We do have the free basic science mission that we're doing, which is providing the basic science module for everyone to get set up to decide on taking the right course. Yep. Are you improved by the NDEB, Sandy? We just have some conditions.
Mhm. Then there's a question from Irina.
Yeah.
If I
Have
pass
you?
the IMBDE,
Sorry, I was checking with Sandy. Have you applied? Have you sent your documents? Okay. Well, so contact our admin team, and they'll set you up with the free basic science mission. They'll just require some qualifications, get your address, and then they'll give you access to
Mhm.
that module, and they'll send you the book. And I'm sure you will love it. Okay, so just we'll send it. Just contact the team. Okay.
So do
Sorry.
you
Go
need
ahead.
do you need any visas to take the exams by doing the courses online and go Canada for the day of the exam?
No, you can come to Canada as a tourist. So if you required a visa from your country, like to enter Canada as a tourist, you will have to sort that out. I think it's electronic nowadays, right? The
Yeah. All these
electronic
are
travel authorization.
you get an e-visa, right?
Yeah, but not necessarily a like student visa or anything. Just enter as a tourist,
Just like your
take
tourist.
your exam. Yeah.
They say it's even easier if you have an exam booked or something. I don't know if that's,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Do they actually reject anybody if you're
I've
not a
never
criminal?
heard. Yeah, I never
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah. So next
So
one.
what
Sorry.
is the
Yeah.
better? I'll read it. What is better, the direct pathway or the
Oh
university
wait,
path?
are you on the? I'm starting from the top.
Okay.
Where is she? We just finished Sandy. There's Irina. Sorry, I joined late. If I pass IMBD exam, what we need to pass in Canada? Um, if I pass IMBD, it doesn't matter what you did in IMBDE. It's the same structure in Canada that you have to follow in Canada, whether you pass the IMBDE doesn't give you any kind of I don't know if you mean any exceptions. Do you want to unmute?
Yeah.
Is that clear? I'm checking the top, so I don't know what new messages are coming up. So if she's replying, okay, Sandy. So you got that? Okay. So just contact and we'll help you with that. Oh, it's because you're in New Zealand. So maybe yeah. If we'll figure something out, arrangement with you, no problem. So where's the next one? I'm at now Humeya. Is the main copy of transcript should be sent by the university? Yes, right? She means like the original.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there is a step where you need the transcripts to be sent by the university directly um what do you call it? To the
The
NDEB.
NDEB. Mm-hmm.
You guys want to take the next one?
Next one,
Manisha.
Manisha.
The AFK course you provide, does it only include pre-recorded sessions? Flavia, go ahead.
Okay. The AFK course, yes, there's pre-recorded sessions, lectures, but also live sessions on Saturdays where you can ask any questions about the content you studied that week, or questions you have about the questions, because every module you'll have a question booklet with around between 300 and 600 questions. So you can ask all your questions on the live sessions. Sometimes the live sessions can become lectures, and if that happens, we record those and make it available at the platform as well.
Anything that's essential will be recorded.
Yeah.
Anything that is Q&A is usually doesn't need to be recorded because it depends on your like specific doubt. So it's to answer your question as well, is like it's not only recorded, but it's perfected in a way like we're all kind of OCD about these things here. So so we will perfect
That
it.
is true.
that is true. We perfected the system so that you'll have the best experience, you know, and you have a week to watch the videos. Then you come to the live session, you attend the live session, you ask your questions, you have a quiz every module, you have we're creating practical videos as well now that elaborate more on the theory. And you have 5 mocks at the end of the course. So you have what you need and more. Okay. The 4 books are organized in a special way that is not like a traditional way. You know, we have our own way of organizing the books, which is basic science, medical, dental, then surgical. Then these 4 books will be shipped to you with 15 question booklets. Okay. To learn more about it, we could do also a consult and give you the details. We could also send the AFK course. We have a YouTube video from before, right? The AFK and how the AFK works.
We do, or they could also attend the AFK orientation
just to see any updates. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's send the AFK orientation link maybe again. Thank you. Okay. Can I take the actual theory exam AFK ACJ online? No. It's simple. You can't do
Maybe
it.
they mean Prometric. No?
Yeah, but it's not online. They can't do it from home, if that's what they
Yeah,
mean.
not from home. You have to go to
Yeah,
a
you have
Prometric
to.
center.
Where are the centers now? Obviously in Canada, US.
New Zealand
New
has
Zealand,
some, and Australia.
and Australia. So those are where
Mhm.
centers will be for the exams.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Sorry, Alexis, do you
you-
mean online like from home, just to make sure?
yeah.
Okay. I have a direct
And
question. Sorry.
in order to do the online version of the exam at the Prometric Center, you need to get a seat at the Prometric. Okay. There's the paper-based and the Prometric exam. She says, yes, I'm in New Zealand. Okay, thank you. Cool.
Okay, so she could find seats in New Zealand then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any like direct messages as well, or just in case? I don't know if I'm not. Let me know if
No.
you do.
I don't.
So there's one here. Do we need PR for appearing for license exam? That's a no, right?
No.
No, you don't. Yeah. No.
But for the universities, if you're applying, then you need PR. On the other hand, for the equivalency, you don't need a PR.
Yeah.
You can clear all your licensing exams, but after you clear that, you would need a PR to apply for the license with the licensing body.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, you don't need.
Okay. Do you need any visas to take the exams by doing the courses online and go to Canada for day of the exam? We answered that one, right?
We do. Yeah.
Okay. Sir, what is better, the direct pathway or the university pathway? Classic question. Okay, so let's we could have a debate about this probably. I'll give my summary answer because yes, I usually do mention it. Sorry, I didn't mention it today, but I would say the direct pathway is going to be cheaper, and if you pass all the exams, more efficient. But you just don't get a dental degree from Canada. If that matters to you, then you want to do the university pathway. So why would you want a dental degree from Canada? In case you want to expand to go to the US, it's going to be easier. You don't have to start from, from the start. And if you want to get a specialty, maybe it's going to be easier to have a DDS from Canada to get into a specialty. But usually when I consult a lot, I've done so many consults in my life that I've kind of talk to people, and once I dig into why you want to become a specialist, eventually we find out that they don't really want to become a specialist. Okay, so because we have this kind of idea from, I think, all of us, even, well, I don't know if you, but for sure from Syria, where I studied, where a specialty is like a necessity. You have to become a specialist, right?
Yeah.
Here, you don't have to become a specialist, right? You
Mhm.
make good income being a general dentist, and you could expand to any specialty you want with some training. So you
Mhm.
get the best of both worlds. You could get the best, you could do ortho, you could do implants, just with a little bit of training. You don't need to go 3 years to university, and you get to pick the cases you like and just refer the rest to specialists. So being a specialist means you really, really passionate about that one specialty that you will be doing forever without doing general dentistry. So you have to be okay with that.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's why when we talk to people, eventually we end up figuring out that they don't really want to be a specialist. They just feel like pressured that they have to do it. Okay.
Mhm.
But if you really want to be a specialist, then getting a DDS would help you. You know. So that's where it's not really a better. Now I put my case. You guys go ahead because you have experiences with university, and you are both in it right now, where you're kind of like you have to decide between one or the other.
Mhm. Yeah, I am. I think it depends on your lifestyle or the life situation that you're in that moment. If you, like you said, if you plan to move to the US, like if that could happen to you or your family, then maybe it's better to have the university pathway because you get your Canadian degree, right? Can be used in other countries.
Mhm.
But if that's not the case, and you really know that you're going to be settled in Canada, you're not going to move away, um, then yes, the direct pathway can be less, it is less expensive regardless, and can be faster. It can take the same amount of time. Sometimes it could, but it can be faster. That's what I would say. So it depends on your specific situation, right?
Yeah, Dr. Amni, any?
No, I agree with Dr. Flavia. You will have to see what you want and how your life situation is. But
Mm.
if I speak from the personal experience, I would say keep both the options open. Prepare for AFK
Mhm.
and give ADAT also, because
Sorry.
sometimes you have to take certain decisions. So keep both the sides open.
I agree. That's always, sometimes you may think that you have to choose one pathway and stick to it, but it's good to just leave both
Yeah,
options open. You have more opportunities, and your life may change as the process is happening, right? Like my life is an example of that. Like in the beginning, I planned to do the direct pathway, but things are shifting for me, and I might go with university pathway now. And
yeah,
thankfully, I have both doors open, so we'll see how it goes.
sure.
And just to give you like my experience, I applied to UFT and I did AC. Back then, ACJ and skills were back to back, so I did all three things. I
Mm,
did the exams, and then I applied. I decided only one university that's near. I didn't want to go too far, so I focused on UFT and then skills and AC. So you could do something like that. You don't have to apply to all the. Applying to university is not easy too. Like it takes
yeah,
work, and so I focus on the one that's nearby. I'm like, doesn't need a clinical exam, great. So I
yeah.
applied. I did get accepted to UFT, and then I asked them, can I wait a little bit? Just give me some time. They gave me a week. Thank God the
They
results came
did
out. They said we can't really like delay your. I was maybe being a little
registration, right?
bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But and then I ended up passing the exam. So
Hmm.
now I had to decide, do I want to go? And that was a difficult decision because I was like, well, I can't get it back now. It's either I do this or that. After
Hmm.
asking around, then at the end I decide, okay, I guess I'm just going to go through and I had no experience back home at all. So
Hmm.
it was just straight from graduation. So I
Hmm.
I did just take the direct pathway. Like I didn't go to the university because I wanted to get into the real world start, and I thought I could learn things on my own. I don't need university always to learn things. You could take courses. You'll learn things in a more efficient way out of this
Yeah.
university. I would say university is good to guarantee the process, I guess, right? If you
Yeah.
get a seat.
Hmm. Yeah.
So That's my experience with it. So keep both options open. Next question is, for how long is the result of AFK valid? Doesn't expire, right?
It doesn't expire.
It's always valid. So for direct pathway, it's always valid. And for university, it used to be 2 years, but now it's not
Mm-hmm.
required.
It's not, yeah. So once you
What about
pass,
ADAT?
you pass.
How long is the ADAT score
ADAT
valid for?
must be 2 years.
2 years. 2 years. If I want to do ADAT, I have to do AFK. So if you want to do the ADAT exam, you don't have to do the AFK exam. But if you want to do the ADAT exam and you want to take the course with us, think of it like our ADAT course is an AFK plus ADAT course. So if you want to learn ADAT, it's pretty much AFK plus ADAT. Like we could just, that is the ADAT course, right? So technically, you don't have to do AFK. We'll just call it ADAT. We'll tell you it's an ADAT course, but you're learning the 80% of that AFK content, which is the main dentistry part, and then you're adding onto it some epidemiology and biostatistics and some biomedical. Okay, Yusra, does that make sense?
Where are we?
Not sure if Yusra heard the answer. Hopefully she did. Where are we?
Okay, so I
Yusra.
found it.
Now we're at. How about your
Someone's
success
asking.
percentage? I got a direct message in
Okay.
Scholars Dental and being here in Canada, which better for me, online or site on course? We believe in the online. That's going to be more
Mm-hmm.
efficient. And our success rate last time was, we're just looking at it the other day. For last cycle, we got between 80%, 85%, and I mean, in certain ways, could argue 100%. But um,
Mm-hmm.
if you basically, that's our success rate. If you score on our evaluation test, we have an evaluation test at the end of the course. If you score high on those tests, then you have above almost 90% passing rate. If
Yeah.
you score less than the evaluation test, we recommend you don't go to the exam and continue studying. Sorry, Flavia, do you just want to say?
No, but I would say that I think it helps people to know that in our course, the evaluation tests will tell you what are your specific chances of passing. So you're not going to be based on the school's passing rate. You're going to have your own passing rate, and we'll discuss it with you or with anyone in the course and advise you on what's the best strategy based on your scores.
Okay. Since I haven't applied for NDB yet, can I still take the AFK exam this August 2025? I heard it takes about 5 to 6 months to get the credentials, and that
Mm.
booking the AFK exam can be difficult. Do I need a lawyer to get document notarized? So there are two questions. First question, what do you guys think?
Most likely you won't be able to take the exam in August because like you said, it does take around 5 to 6 months to get your credentials approved. And I'm not sure about the closing, like registration closing date for AFK, but it should be around like June or somewhere, maybe early July. So I don't think it's like I wouldn't count on it. Like if you sent everything now in January, it's very close to the closing date, like registration closing date. So even if you do get approved, there might not be seats available by July, right? So it's risky to prepare with this goal. I would start preparing for the February 2026.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
start
it
now.
doesn't mean, yeah, it doesn't mean you don't have to start now. So it just depends on their
No, yeah,
situation. If you're
yeah.
busy, we might recommend the mastery course in May. If you are busy but you want to, you have time every week but you need longer preparation, we might recommend a course now, mocks review package later, or repeat later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, because we do have a discount for repeating, right? And then if you are like an ideal situation, we might say, no, register for the next course, get your books early. So it depends on if you want to book a consult, we could discuss your situation a little bit more
Yeah.
deeper. The second question, do I need a lawyer to get documents notarized? Do you guys, what do you guys do? I did it with a notary public, so.
Same. I did the same. It depends on
Ramnik, did you get your
where you
documents
are.
then set up from back home?
Yes, it depends from which country you are. So if you're from India,
Yeah.
so you can go to any notary and get attested and notarized. If you're in Canada, you can go to Service Canada and get it notarized there, or Service Ontario if you're in Ontario. And if you don't have time, then you can go to any lawyer who does notarization. You can get it done from him also. So you have all these options with you.
So when you were in India, you did it with a notary from there?
Yes, yes. So
That's
there's a
accepted.
notary. That is accepted, yes.
So it doesn't have to be a Canadian kind of licensed notary, or notary just licensed all over countries?
No, they attest it as attested for the international something. They have a
Oh,
special
okay,
thing for
okay.
that.
Special seal. Yeah.
Special seal for
Mm.
that for the international exams. So you can get it
Mm.
done from there. Yes.
Okay.
Specifically, if you're sending for your PR or WES or everything, so
Mhm.
they have a special seal for that.
Okay. Hopefully that answers this question. I'm not checking the bottom, so if he's giving feedback or she's giving feedback, let us know. I'm just checking I'm still on the top here.
No
Next
feedback.
question from Hiral. Do we need PR to appear for all? No, the 4 license exams don't need a PR.
Mm.
That's it. Is it possible to prepare for ADAT before taking AFK classes? My NDEB application is under process and I'm waiting for approval. Prepare for ADAT. It's possible so our next ADAT course starts in Feb. You could take those 2 months, but then our ADAT, if you want to take an ADAT add-on bridge course, like what we have, which is the most efficient way, you'll be taking that knowledge, but then you won't have the body knowledge of AFK, the clinical part, right? Or the clinical sciences part. So how do you navigate that, Dr. Ramnik? Do you think it's better? Some people have tried it. I'm not sure they're. Sorry, you're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry, I was reading the comments, so sorry. What
No,
were you
okay.
asking?
So the question is, can they take the ADAT before the AFK course?
I would not recommend it. I would want you to study for AFK, or as we say, our comprehensive ADAT, that you prepare everything, because then you have a very solid foundation of your knowledge, and then you can add on to the knowledge when we are preparing for the
Yeah.
ADAT.
Yeah, think of
Yeah.
our AFK
Can I-
course as actually not just an AFK course. Like we label it AFK because we started with the AFK exam in Canada, but it's actually what we call the course is a foundation of dentistry, and it will work for board exams. So it will work for ADC, it will work for AFK, it will work for ADAT, it works for IMBDE. So the course itself works for all the exams. Then you just need to top it up with some, specialty like mock things. Okay, how is that formula in
Like
ADAT? How is
exam
the formula?
style. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Dr.
I was
Flavia. You
gonna.
had something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you have to think about it as, like we said in the beginning, the AFK exam is the most challenging. So when you prepare for the AFK, you could think that you're basically over prepared for the others. But if you start preparing for the others specifically, you'll be under prepared for the AFK. So why not prepare for the AFK exam, since it will give you a most like Dr. Remnick said, most like solid like foundation, and then you can expand, right?
Sure.
So that's how you
Good
should
point.
see it. Like
Yeah.
preparing for the AFK will make you over prepared for all the other exams.
Because when you're preparing AFK, I think you mentioned in the podcast, you're saying that like the IBDE, you find that the questions are superficial. Like they take it from the
Yes.
surface. They're not digging deep. And I even see like some people that post questions for the Australian, like some coaching programs. I look at the question, I'm like, I could answer these like all day. Like it's very
Yeah.
without even reviewing, So
Straightforward. Yeah, just like
very
straightforward
like
questions.
clear. It's like the questions for IMBDE in Australian is like the released, the like the easy
released question.
released, the easy of the
easy
released,
release.
you know?
Yeah, that's how I felt like. with the
ADAT gets tricky
INBD.
because it has, sorry, you were saying.
No, yeah, go ahead.
No, ADAT gets tricky because you have more of biostatistics as
Yes.
compared to
That's
AFK.
it.
So
Yeah.
that is an
Mm-hmm.
add-on. And there are certain
Mm-hmm.
topics in biomedical sciences which we have identified, which they lay more stress on
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
compared to AFK. Rest, it
Mm-hmm.
is, if you're prepared, as Dr. Flavia said, if you prepare for AFK, you are over-prepared for
With the
ADAT.
base. Yeah.
Yes, for the base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then you just need that specialty thing for ADAS, which is the biostats, how those questions appear, some biomedical things that we discussed before, Dr. Remy, like the carbon monoxide toxicity. We're talking about these things like
Yes.
tissues of the respiratory system, like the things that they care about ADAT to test you on that will introduce you.
Mm-hmm.
Not difficult, just these things they care about it more in ADAT. Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about it in the bridging course. So hopefully that clears out the, and this is the most efficient way. Like if you go take a full ADAT course somewhere and they go charge you 5,000, then you need to take another full AFK course and then you get charged another 5,000. That
Yeah.
doesn't seem the best way. What we do is we charge, you have the full AFK course, then an add-on ADAT, which is the most efficient way, time-wise
Mm-hmm.
and money-wise. Okay. Is the NDB only for Canada? Yes. Or once I have it, I can apply work in US? No. You don't want to
Maybe he's
rely on that.
confusing.
Huh?
Maybe he's confusing NDEB with INBDE.
Yeah, so NDEB is Canadian. The body in the US is called the exam is INBDE under the AD.
That's
But
for the
there are
US.
some aren't there some states that allow it, but I just don't want to say and rely on it because we don't know if that
Our
changes.
exam?
Some
No,
states.
some states
There are
will allow the
three.
ADAT. There are?
There are 3 states in US which we have heard that they accept the Canadian license from like the equivalency route. Like if you have
Mm.
like you have cleared the NDB exams, but I have not
Oh,
met
okay.
anyone who has gone through
That's
that.
key.
Oh,
I've
but
never
also
met anyone that's actually done it.
We know
cleared
it.
all the exams then.
Yeah, so you get a license from the equivalency journey, and then you get a
Okay.
license and like the
Mm-hmm.
equivalency thing, and then you apply to US.
Mm-hmm.
So there are 3 states which allow that, but I have
Do you
not
know
met
them?
any. Sorry?
Do you know which
One
three
is
states?
Colorado, if I'm not wrong. One is Seattle. I don't remember the third one, but I have few friends who were trying, but I have not met anyone who has just done
Done
it.
it.
Done
Yeah.
it. Mm-hmm.
Done it. Yes.
Interesting. Yeah. Next, how much time gap can I give between AFK and ACJ? Ooh, good question. We actually discussed this in one of the podcasts. What do you guys
Yeah.
think? Well,
I think when you're in that, when you like have the habit, you develop the habit of studying with AFK when you're preparing. So you have the routine. Sometimes you feel like after the exam you might need like a break. Some people might. So it depends. But in general, I would say don't like not losing that habit, that routine could be great for you. So if you started, let's say, an ACJ course, not necessarily to take the next ACJ right away, because you might not get a seat. But if you start preparing for the ACJ, that can keep you like help you maintain the routine. And it's always better, right? Like if you start preparing right away, there's a lot of concepts that you need to remember from AFK. So I would not recommend a gap
mhm,
between those preparations. But like I said, some people might need a little break. Let's say,
mhm.
no, don't take too long of a break if you
But
have to.
let's just let's look at the can I give. You could give as much as you want, technically. Like you can. They won't, the AFK exam passing won't expire. That's the
Yeah,
that's yeah.
that is true.
But we
Yeah.
recommend that you do AFK and ACJ close. It's very, very
I,
efficient that way.
I
Take the
would.
gap
Yeah.
after ACJ, if anything,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because a lot of knowledge from AFK is transferable to ACJ,
Mm.
like pharma, some endo, some perio diagnosis.
Pathology.
So you'll be maximizing your efficiency by doing AFK, ACJ as close as possible. And we
Mm-hmm.
have a program that whenever we have AFK a batch, we offer them something unique for ACJ so that they could that is risk free. But once you're in our AFK program, you'll find out. Don't worry. But basically, they will. There's no reason not to do the ACJ after. And then after the because we think this is the best way, AFK ACJ should be done close by, so that you're not. Imagine like someone did AFK, waited a year, now they're an ACJ, and I have to like
You kind of
restudy the
start
diagnosis of
forgetting.
scenario.
Yeah.
You have to, yeah.
And also, it may seem like you need a break because AFK is a heavy course. Like preparation for AFK, the exam, it's heavy. But the ACJ is completely different, right, Dr. Ernie? It's so much
True.
lighter. It's fun. It's completely different, and it's one book, not four. Not these four books. It's only one book. Very
You have
enjoyable
the
course.
ACJ book?
It's not here. It's
Not
not here
here.
with me at the moment, but I do have
Dr.
the book.
Ramneek, do you have any comments on that?
Now, let's take the break after ACJ, not between AFK and ACJ.
And
No.
Dr. Ramneek also took our course for and passed on her first attempt with the
Yeah.
ACJ.
Mhm.
Did you do the one cycle or the double cycle?
1 sec.
One
But
cycle. So
2.5 months, yes.
2.5 months preparation, passed ACJ.
Amazing.
It's more about, okay, you have the knowledge from AFK, you are carrying it, you're just learning the strategy, like how to answer the questions in
Mhm.
ACJ, and
Yeah.
a few extra things there. So that helps. That's why I do AFK and ACJ together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we also don't want them to confuse ACJ being light with easy. Like if you do not do a course,
Yes.
you're almost guaranteed to fail
Yeah.
because
The
it's just a matter of strategy. Like if you will go with no strategy and how to answer the questions.
Exactly. You can
You know?
have all the knowledge, but the style of the exam is so different that a lot of people in the beginning, maybe up until the end, like you
We'll
struggle
over
with like
answer. We'll over
will
answer.
over answer, and
Yeah.
it's
Especially with more knowledge.
difficult.
Yeah, why not this? Why not that? Why not?
Yeah, yeah.
Just to give you guys an idea, ACJ, you could answer as many answers as you want. So
Hmm.
you
There's
might be
like
able to answer
14
three.
options.
There's 14 options. You can answer four, three, and they're all like split marks. So anyway, just to give you an idea of, because they're like, what is this weird exam? What are you guys
Yeah.
talking about?
But if you answer one, if you pick a choice that is incorrect, it nulls the entire question. That's the
Mhm.
tricky part, right? But
There is a
anyways,
lot. Yeah. Next question. There is a live session in the online course. Yes, we have live sessions. We have
mhm,
a WhatsApp group. You will be actually, I would say like the online course is more social than the in class. I swear. If you think
I get, yeah,
like
yeah.
in class, you're meeting people once, twice, maybe a week. We
Hmm.
our students are like chatting back and forth all day, every day. So
Hmm.
it's more. It's like we're even on every day with the course, right?
Hmm.
Um, Next is. Oh, thank you, Omar.
Can I
So,
add one thing
yep.
about the online course strategy? Which one thing that I found really helpful for me is that I remember like in university or my other courses that I did, specialty courses, when you are in class, you don't have time to process the information and then formulate your questions. So with the course, online course, you watch the lecture, you're reading your books, you're, taking your notes. And then after you're done watching everything, you have a lot of time to process the information, to, come up with questions for the live session. So it makes it better to like retain that knowledge. It makes it easier for you to process things and then, you know,
Correct. Yeah.
deepen like the what you've learned.
That's one of the like benefits is that you could actually process information nice and slow, your own
Yeah.
pace during the week, come with high-end questions to the Q&A.
Hmm. Hmm. Not just rushed or, oh, I'm shy to ask now.
And yeah,
Next.
asking questions too. Some people get shy to ask in class, right?
Mm.
And everybody's under pressure. Like if
Yeah.
someone asks too much, then like the instructor could be like, I gotta finish by 5. People have to catch their bus. Like
Yeah.
it's I know the environment. I've been in class. I taught it before. So oh doctor, can we finish on time? If we finish late, I have to catch my bus, and I'm gonna be like, why go through all
Mm-hmm.
that just to? I feel like sometimes people they feel like in class, first of all they're attached to the idea from universities, and
Mm-hmm.
and they're not ready to make the like they're not yet ready to do the move to the new thing. The other
Mm-hmm.
thing is that they get more tired in class because they have to go and come back. so they feel like they're
Yeah.
doing work. Like, oh, I'm
Oh,
working so
okay.
hard.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's a
Yeah.
psychological trick. Whereas, what if there's a more efficient way? But then I don't feel like I'm working so hard. But you could be, and just you get more productive. But I want
Yeah.
to feel like I went and tired. I'm tired now. Like, like
Yeah.
it's like,
Some
and then
people
you
are
think,
like, yeah, and some people are like, I feel like if I am studying at home, I won't be as motivated. But you will. Like the course
with
is an
our strategy,
investment.
yeah,
And yeah, we have a strategy and we have student guide. We have the other students which you can talk to every day if you want in the group. Like you said, like like the social aspect of it. It may be even like enhanced in the online course. We're always there. We're always like ready to motivate you, to help you.
and we have a timer on you, kind of.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you have a timer in a way to finish lectures. We could call it like a
Yeah.
week to finish this lecture. It's a timer. If you don't finish it
Hmm.
by this week, those lectures will disappear until the next lectures come up. You will have time
Hmm.
later on to make up, but that timer gives you some accountability that you have to finish.
Yeah. Some
So
urgency. Like
yes. So we've thought through, like, I'm telling you, we're OCD about how to create things
the
perfect for you.
strategy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we're not just where do I get good stand? Okay, next question. Where do I get good standing, I guess, certificate from? I think those are the
So it
licensing bodies,
depends.
right?
Licensing body. Yeah. But it depends where you are. Like in Brazil, it was my licensing body of my state. So it might change from country to country, but usually who licensed you to practice
Hmm.
dentistry?
Okay, that's right. So the more countries you work in, by the way, the more I think you have to give.
Oh
If you
yeah,
tell
yeah.
the
If you
NDEB
work
you
in
worked
multiple,
in, you know, where Brazil, then you went to Saudi, worked in Saudi, then
yeah,
then they'll be like, well, we want good standing from here, we want good standing from here.
they'll want to see, yeah.
So you don't have to tell them everything. But like, okay,
No, doctor.
yeah, so that's okay. So if you specialize, next question. This is a repeat question. If you finish the direct process and done the OSCE, can I work as a dentist in US? We answered that already. Dr. Amnik said
Yeah.
there's 3 states that may accept it,
Sorry.
but we haven't met anybody that actually has done it, so don't
Mm,
rely on it. If you specialize in something, you are just attached to that specialized to work and can't do general dentistry, or are you allowed to do everything? In
mm,
Canada, if you're a general dentist, then you specialize. It won't make sense to be a general dentist. Okay, I'll tell you how it works. It's very professional here in that sense. So I'm a general dentist. I refer my patients to a specialist. People don't walk, the specialist won't see you if you just walk in. Like, it doesn't work that way. You can't just go to a specialist. Even in medicine, it works this way. So you have to be referred by a general dentist to the specialist, usually. Okay. Um, and if the specialist, I'll tell you how if the specialist starts doing general dentistry, the general dentist will refer to that specialist. Okay. So
mhm,
it has to
mhm,
be, it's a collaboration.
mhm,
So usually specialists try to please the general dentist to get more referrals. They send us chocolates every holiday. That's how the politics of it works. The specialists are like, "Oh, thank you for all your, here you go." Like, they want, because the specialist is working with a bunch of general dentists, and you could think of it like the specialist is, their client is the general dentist.
mhm,
That's their customer. They're trying to make sure they take care of their patients, right? The general dentist, their main customer, like patient, the client is the patient. But of course,
mhm,
the specialist has to be good with the patient too. But they won't get the referrals. So people don't just walk into special. That's where it comes from. If you become a specialist and then you start want to do general dentistry, no one's going to refer to you. So you wasted time becoming a specialist, really. Does
mhm,
it, hopefully that kind of, I'm not sure. It's not that you're not allowed. You
mhm,
could have both licenses and practice, but it just won't work in the real world here. Okay,
mhm,
that's just how it is, and that's how it's a better system. You want to send to a specialist that's doing their specialty all the time. They're the best at it. That's what you want. You don't want to send it to a specialist that's doing some general dentistry and some specialty. Why would I send to that
mhm.
person? My patient might be
Yeah.
cared better for. with a specialist doing it 20 all the time, right? So that's how the special. But yeah, I hopefully that answers the question. Did you guys want to add anything to it, or?
No, it made sense to me. I hope it's clear.
You guys want to take on some from? I'm at Pierre. I can't read that. Pierre now. 12:41 time.
Fairma,
Great.
if we go through ADA application, it opens the pathway for IMBD too. So can we apply for the US university after clearing that exam? Yes. The INBD is one of the ways to apply to the American universities. Most universities are accepting the INBD. Some are accepting the ADAT. But yeah, if the INBD is they combine the NBDE Part 1 and Part 2. So now it's the integrated National Board Dental Exam, and it's valid for most of American universities. How long ADAT exam is valid? Dr. Emily already 2 years.
But you can take it multiple times. Like the registration is open from February, like March to August. So if you think that your score is not good, so you can take the exam again in the same cycle. And if you have a good score and you want to apply with that score to the universities, it is valid for 2 years.
For 2 years. Next one. I came to Canada 3 years ago from Afghanistan. Unfortunately, all universities are closed for long times in Afghanistan due to government restrictions. Is it possible? It is possible. Can I apply for the NDEB, or I will talk to the NDEB about it? Yeah, if it's hard to get in touch with your university, there may be other ways to have your documents accepted by the NDEB. If I'm not mistaken, it will require a lawyer. It's a different process, but yet I think the best thing to do would be to connect with the NDEB either via email or calling them. Their phone number is on the website. You just press 0 and you talk to an attendant, and you can ask all your questions about your specific situation, because this is a bit more specific. Yeah. Okay. Next, did someone graduate from a Russian university? How did you obtain? So I guess this is a question for people in the chat. Like, if someone here graduated from a Russian university, how did you obtain your certificate of good standing? I would not know. You're welcome. Then Heba asks, are the lectures and the books enough for passing the AFK, or do I have to study other resources or papers? Dr. Monique, or do you want me to go?
That Dr. Flavia, I think you're the best person to answer that.
I truly believe that the material we provide is enough. It's not just the lectures and the books, like we were saying before. Like it's a combination of lectures, the books, articles. There are articles as well that we attach to the platform. So you do need to read some articles. There's the live sessions, there's the practicing, right? Like going through a lot of questions, making sure you understood everything in the live sessions, clearing out all your doubts. So it's a combination of the whole material. Even the mocks, our mocks are part of the material of the course. So it's not just, yeah, read the books, you'll pass, or watch these lectures. It requires a combination of everything. So some people take the course and they say that they didn't solve the questions. They didn't have time to solve the questions. So they didn't use the entire material, right? So that will not be enough. You need to use every resource we'll provide. But you don't need necessarily to go looking for other books or anything else, because it's all included in the course. Dr. Hafez, were you here?
Hey.
Oh, you just came back.
Yeah. So one thing is also
Anything to
like
add?
don't underestimate like what the teaching style that we have at Scholars could do for you. Because you might be used to a certain way in university that you think that's how teaching is always, but the way we teach you here is very different. Like you will actually feel like you're learning something, and it would be like to a point where you might go like, wow, that was this is the best teaching I could get here, even at a level of comparing it to universities. And we've received that feedback. It's not like we're just saying it.
He's not saying
All
it.
the team, the entire team is dedicated to teaching in a certain way. So you're learning it at a really good core level. Okay. So it's not like you're just the material in the books, it's how someone's explaining it to you, what really also matters, and how you perceive it, how that changes your mind. Sorry, what was the question? I wasn't here when I just heard it was like material.
The question was, are the lectures and the books enough for passing the AFK, or do I have to study other resources or
So
papers?
we passed the whole. There's someone from Afghanistan. We got
Mhm.
through all that. Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, the lectures and books are enough for lectures, videos, books, quizzes, mocks, you studying. Yes, they're enough, 100%.
Mhm.
You don't have to study anything. We don't recommend you study anything else.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, unless you mastered our stuff, and usually 6 months is not even enough to master it, really.
Yeah.
Like unless you'll be good at it, but
Mhm.
I think Dr. Flavia, you once you finished some of our stuff, you kind of played around with the decks a bit,
Yes,
dental decks,
but not
but you
to
didn't study
learn
from them.
from.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just use the cards. If you guys don't know what the dental decks are, they are just cards with questions, same style as the release questions, and answers on the back and explanations. So I didn't use that to study. I used it just to quiz myself after going through our questions multiple times. Then I use the decks just to quiz myself at night after reviewing a topic.
Okay, good. Let's go.
Next, for the skills exams, do you have courses too? And they are presented, I think, on a place, or there is a virtual classes? We do have skills courses for the NDEC exams, but they are in person. So those would have to be taken at our facilities.
We have a complete lab where we have our ADEC stations, which are the same stations which NDEB is using to evaluate, like on which you give the exam. So what we prefer and we suggest and we recommend is that you take the course in person, because then you have access to the instructors, on-floor instructors, where they can guide you even on the slightest of your doubts or difficulties. So virtual classes. Do we have any virtual classes, Dr. Ahmed, for that?
For
For the
skills,
skills.
For skills, we
we
don't.
don't
Yeah.
believe in the virtual class for skills. We don't think that's not going to be as good as an in person. We've sometimes made some exceptions, but it's very strict where you would have to have someone bring your typewriter on. So if you're thinking to do a virtual class for skills, you're not planning to succeed really. Like it's inferior. So we don't want to give you something inferior. We only do in-person skills right now, mainly. So Dr. Ramneek did her skills with us and passed on her first attempt. So like that was in person, I don't even imagine how like an online using a camera to do your work check. I mean, can you imagine? It's probably doable, but the the I don't
The
know, the
accuracy
productivity of that, the accuracy,
and
yeah,
productivity.
versus someone being right in front of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to master the smallest of the details because you are making an academically correct project. So even the slightest of the mistake can cost you an exam. So you have to be 100% sure. And for that, you need to be at a place where you have access to the instructors and somebody who's minutely checking your work. and giving you a live feedback to correct it, right? So in the center, always preferable.
Then Perna asked, she's in Canada and wants to start her NDEB application. Do I need to go back to my country to get it notarized, or can I do it in Canada? You can do it here.
You just
go
have
to
to
a
take
notary
your,
office, yeah, or Service Ontario, like Dr. Amnik said, and you can get your copy notarized. Your documents. Other documents might need to be notarized as well, like the
Does
translations.
Service Ontario do it like properly, like fast? I never tried.
No, I think it takes longer. That's why she said if you have less time, right, Dr. Ramnik, go to a lawyer.
you have to book an appointment with them in Service Ontario or Canada. I'm not sure which one was it. So they give you an appointment. Like I got in the same day. I called them in the morning, so they gave me an appointment for 4 o'clock in the evening. So I got it notarized, but I don't know how this will work for NDEB application because that has to be sent in a sealed envelope from your university. Those documents. What documents?
So what you did wasn't the NDEB documents. You did something
No,
else.
I did it for the like application to the university.
Because you don't have to go to a lawyer. You could go to a notary. They're called notary public, and
office.
they're reasonable. I think they charge maybe 5 to 10 per document.
Yes.
Might be faster.
No,
I haven't tried Service Ontario for
in London, it was a lot more per document, but
different times maybe too.
No, I remember I
Different
paid
times.
$50 to the lawyer for one
Yeah, it
document.
was around
Lawyer,
yeah.
but because you went to a lawyer,
Per
they're more
page.
expensive.
One document.
No, notary. I went to a notary
Notary also.
office. Yeah, it was around 50 per page per document, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so then
Yeah, it's a lot.
I got a
But
good
I
deal
mean,
somewhere. You have to make
you
some
got a
calls.
good deal.
Yeah,
You did. You did.
But Prerna, to answer your question, your application has to be sent through your university, right?
So she could get those notarized here, mail to the university, maybe.
I don't know.
Wait,
So
why
you
does
have
she have to? Just 2 documents have to be
No.
from the university: transcripts and
Yes. Yes.
and
Rest of
the
that,
confirmation
okay.
degree.
yeah, rest of that you can get it done here. Yeah.
Yeah, everything she could send
She could
directly.
send this herself. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
the only thing from the university is the transcripts,
Confirmation.
original
Transcripts,
copy,
yeah.
and the confirmation degree once she's filled it up.
Yes. Then you can send it here and you can get it done here.
Okay, where are we? Are we done?
Next is your facility for the skills only in Toronto?
Close, Mississauga, but
Mississauga.
depends on what you mean by Toronto. Some people refer to Toronto as the whole thing.
GTA.
Yeah. Are there only 3 attempts for AFK?
Yes, only 3 attempts for AFK and ACJ.
Where's our mastery course in now? Which cycle are they in? Which module? They're in pathology, starting pathology 2.
Finishing pathology 2.
No, I think they're starting pathology 2. Because last week when I did the session, they were in pathology, still finishing pathology 1.
Let me check.
Or did you do the session last week?
No, you did.
Yeah. Okay, anyone has any more questions?
So Prerna has a question. Where in Canada you provide the NDECC course? Prerna, it's in Mississauga, just near to Toronto if you want to be very specific. But it is like GTA, Greater Toronto Area.
And someone is asking, how much is AFK preparation?
AFK could be anywhere from 5,500 to 6,000, depending on your payment strategy, and we do installments. If you add the ADAT, it's an additional add-on, but all that could be paid in installments. The essential course we're talking about is the 6 months course, and then you have the mastery course is a 9 months course, very relaxed. The students there are doing very well so far from what we see, but it's going to be around 9,000 for the mastery course for the 9 months. It's almost 9 months program. You're welcome. Thank you. All right. How hard is it to enroll in AFK test?
When you're in our course, we try to make sure that everyone gets their seats. So we remind everyone like a week before, days before. We're like making sure everyone's prepared. We send videos on how to register just to, help things to run like as smoothly as possible. And we will be online with you the entire time, like giving you tips, making sure that you're all feeling supported. And this last cycle, everybody got their seats. No one was left without a seat. But yeah, it can close in an hour. Within an hour, it can get full.
It's not that it
All the
closes,
seats.
just gets booked. Yeah.
Yeah, just get booked. Like all the
But
seats get filled.
even Dr. Flavia like is there telling you don't do this, don't do that, like step by step, so that you don't. But how hard is it? I think this cycle everybody that wanted got one, except
Everybody.
for
Yes.
2, and then one found one
No,
later.
this cycle.
Yeah, this cycle.
This
Right?
cycle.
Was this the
2
cycle?
people. Oh
Yeah.
yes, that is true. ACJ, everybody got their seats. AFK there were 2 people who could not find a seat right away, but that later on they did. Because
Oh,
some
sorry.
people withdraw from the
Mhm.
exam and then some seats pop up. So if you're always
That's another benefit to being in a group. So sometimes one person from the
Yeah.
group wants to withdraw, so they
and they
tell
will
someone
tell
from
you.
our batch before, so that it could kind
Mhm.
of, I don't know if you guys got what I mean. But
Coordinate, yeah, they
yeah.
coordinate the withdrawal with this other person taking that seat.
Mhm.
So that can happen. Fee for AFK and add-on ADAT.
It's around 7,200. Right now we're still mentioning the 2024 prices, so if you are interested, catch it before it changes for 2025 once we decide those
Yeah.
changes. But so far, I'm just mentioning what I know of the 2024 prices. I think it was 72 or 75. But yeah, so you could check the website. You could talk to the admin team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Or book
I
a
might have to
consult.
go into the mastery session. Let's stop the recording. And I think that's good for.